You ever roll like 10 seconds away from your freaking live YouTube video and realize you're not quite sure what camera you set up? Because that's where I was. What's going on, people? Redo. Everybody go shout out to Redo Reefer, because I believe brother just posted his first video. He was hitting it up with Bahama Llama, with Remy, talking about YouTubeage, and I haven't watched it. I'm going to watch it after this, but it's my understanding that our boy Redo posted a video, and I want to check that out. I really do. What else? Braveheart, Hamada, Neil, Mermaids, B. What up, y'all? How's everybody doing? We got concurrent 14. We got 5 likes. We got people jumping on. We got some stuff to talk about. We got, you know what? I wish this microphone was. I need a different mic. You know who's got a really good mic? Bahama Llama. You know what that guy does for a living? Stuff with microphones. He's a live, on-air TV personality. You go check him out. I can hear noise in the background too. I wonder what that is. Maybe that's just my fan blowing on this microphone. Oh, that's totally what it is. Sorry, we're going to get static today, and that's how we're going to roll. That's right, Dip Your Car Addicted. My dad jumped on here. One of my, you know, I have a hobby problem, and one of my hobbies was dip your car. I was using plastic dip on my vehicles. I dipped 2 of them, complete dips, and I started. YouTube is evil, and I started learning. First, I thought about vinyl wrap, and I was like, yeah, but I like painting. What's up, Robert? Hello, mother. And I got, you know, I got a little, I got a little itch. And I spent some money, and I hit up dipyourcar.com, started watching some Fonzie videos, and I did a little learning. Not that Fonzie, the other Fonzie. Florida Fonzie. Not the one that jumped the sharks either. On, get towed behind a boat on skis. Not that one. And, you know, I got a little addicted there for a little bit. I also dipped half a truck once. Orange. Just because. No, sir, Ken. I'm keeping the good beer warm in my Coral Frenzy koozie. Because good beer, like good food, deserves to be kept in a nice container. In this particular case, a koozie, much like my Coral Frenzy food, is kept in those finely created, finely crafted, shall we say, plastic containers that holds the best pellet food ever. Only the finest for my fish and soft corals. Coral Frenzy, everyone. We're saving this one for last. So there. Take that, Ken Easter. Take that, sir. Hey, Lynn. What's going on? I saw you hooked up Moki. I watched his video today. And of course you hooked him up, because that's how you roll. And that's good stuff. Let's see. What did we do today? Monsieur Splendid. I've been working on my French Canadian. Sucks, doesn't it? We're going to roll like that from now on. Monsieur Splendid. Redo. Let me I'm not taste testing. Oh, I could. I'm not taste testing today. Yeah. Scrolling back up real quick. Looking forward to the video, Redo. And yeah, taste tested. See, Reef Keeper, Coral Frenzy. He knows. What's up, Philip? Oh, I have a correction. I have a correction to my last video where we did that all for Reef. First, I think I misled a couple people thinking it was like legit DIY all for Reef. Nope, sorry. It's the it's the easy bake oven version of All for Reef, where you just assemble the bits that Tropic Marin sells, and then you mix it together as if you baked it in an easy bake oven. So if I misled anybody, I apologize. That was not my intent. I was just showing how to do it with the parts. It's not that way, but it's Aqua Splendor cracking me up. So here's the deal. We had some precipitation issues when I finally blended it in my GHL magnetic stir plate. And I thought incorrectly that it was residual whatever the crap that was in that beaker, that I hadn't cleaned it out well enough. Wrong. False. False. Ladies and gentlemen, I am again incorrect. Shocker. Somewhere in the instructions it probably says this. Wait. Please hold. Oh, more Coral Frenzy love. See? What's up, Taylor? We're not going to... Frenzy. Chris. Frenzy. Apparently, if you have your however much water and then you add elements, which is liquid, to that water, and then you add carbocalcium to the mix, it freaking precipitates. What you're supposed to do, and I need to scroll back through. Well, I could look at the comment. I'll look at the comment later because whoever that was deserves some mad credit. What you're supposed to do is take your water. You're supposed to mix your carbocalcium, get that into solution, get that all homogenated and happy. Then you're supposed to add these two, and my understanding is it won't precipitate like it did for me. So if you're going to do that, if you're going to do this, if you're going to make your own, which you're probably not going to have to do now because they're going to release that powdered stuff eventually when it shows up in the United States. But if you're going to do it, this first with the water, then these. Okay? Cool. Correction. Whoever that was, I super appreciate you correcting my errors, because that does happen. Curious why one over the other. Chris, that's the one I use. And that's the one I've always used, and I trust it. And all my softies are happy. And really, I'm all in on those pellets. I really like the pellets. But Coral Frenzy also makes a powder. Coral Frenzy. That's how I roll. Oh, Savage Reefer. Admin Savage Reefer is here, but it's late, sir. And it's a school night. How are you going to pull this off? Oh, you know what? Another shout out to Prestige Reef, Ryan. Today he was live streaming, and he is... it appears as if maybe he's a little uncomfortable live streaming. Fine, whatever. He's awesome, and his stream today was great. Go check that out. A lot of good information, a lot of questions. A lot of people jumped on that stream, and it was awesome. I jumped on just to say, hey, answer a couple questions while Ryan was talking. And when he realized it was in the stream, he was super freaking excited. And that made me feel real good. That was really nice of him. He's a nice guy. I haven't met him. Talked to him here and there. Helped him out with some GHL stuff. Whatever. We ping back and forth occasionally. He's a good dude. Ryan's a good dude. One day I'll meet him. And it sucks that I wasn't there like last year. Well, I was there last year, but it sucks that we couldn't meet up. Oh, see, Savage Reefer's being very kind. My fish hog all the Coral Frenzy pellets. See, you got to double feed. That's what I do. If you're feeding Coral Frenzy pellets, you got to feed the fish, and you got to get them fat. You got to distract them over in one corner with Coral Frenzy, and then, yeah, right, Mermaid Reef. Ryan's a good dude. Blue River Reef's a Levignon. And then you got to feed, oh, I'm all over the place. This is a squirrel kind of day. Then you feed your LPS their little bits of Magna Hurricane. Yep. Then you got to feed your LPS their Coral Frenzy. Everybody got to get theirs. And you just got to do it. You just got to figure out how to do it. Yeah, see, Redo knows. LPS, they just... Mighty Nano Tank gave me one of those. I don't know what the hell it's painted apples something. I'm on brain dead right now, so big fat LPS. I drop that stuff in there and it just crushes it. Oh. Do a little pre-soak. Redo does a little pre-soak of his. I just drop them in there. I turn off the flow and I'm like I do with this one over here with Mighty Nano Tank's Clown. That tank's starting to clean up. I'd like to point out that cat. Cat pointed me the direction of Microbacter 7. I had a question. I tried my old method. That didn't work. This tank was funky. I got me some Microbacter 7. I'm not sponsored by that, though. And it worked. And that tank's starting to clean up. And all I got to do is a water change to make that thing happy. However, I might be taking that tank on a roll. We'll see. Take it on the road. Scully, thank you, Savage Reefer. Hey, Bill Ray. That may go mobile. We'll see. The tank won't. But a container with everything in that tank is gonna. I haven't tried that yet. I may have to make a... This could be a cool project. I think I'm going to make a plastic container that you get from Home Depot, all-in-one retrofit kit. Out of acrylic. That should work, right? Since 2 years, but Nano Tank. Just wondering how I'm going to control the calcium versus alk. You just set it free. This is a question about carbocalcium. And then you can, I mean, if you want, you could use, like I said, like I did last week, you can use the carbocalcium to create all for reef by blending in the elements and the magnesium. You just got to roll with it. Mermaid's Reef RV tank, but it's going to be... I posted a picture today. It's totally going to be in a in like a big Tupperware, sealed Tupperware thingy. So it doesn't. We'll have to figure that out because I don't need that sloshing around while I'm driving. You know, I don't know if you all driven an RV, but it gets to moving around. It's a little bumpy. What do I do? What do I do? Some of y'all know I had an interview. I'm going to assume that's... I don't know how to say. Phonetically spell that name. I'm gonna go with George. I'm just gonna, and I know I'm going to butcher that, so I apologize in advance. I interviewed last week Friday for a cool job at a cool place, and it's not a teacher position. It's a legitimate position. Let me take that back. It is a it's a position I'm familiar with. That's what I mean by that. It's something that I've done before. And it went really well. So I'm expecting to redo. I saw that picture. I'm going to keep that. It is Jorge. See, I was going to go that way, but then I decided not to. So I'm sorry. Jorge, George. I should have. I'm expecting to hear back from them this week. Super cool people. Incredibly nice. Had lots of good conversations. Was very pleased. So I may have to put the teacher thing, which would probably just start out as a substitute thing, which would have been super cool. Yeah, Savage, you're not supposed to tell everybody what it's doing. I got new tassels for my bike, and I got a new bring bring bell. And how am I supposed to surprise everyone with a new job when you're sitting here spilling the beans in chat? Wait, spilling the beans in chat. How am I? We're not cool anymore. Damn you, cares. No, for reals. Selling my soul, however, Ken Easter has in the past been a job. Just saying. Hopefully not this time. Let's get to this. You want to get to this? Oh, and I also I posted a story. I changed. I have an old minivan. I got a 2007 minivan, and it had the original suspension in it. So I swapped out the shocks. I've ordered the full kit struts up front, so I don't have to do the springs. I did that once. And don't do that. If you could just buy the whole damn thing already pre-assembled, it's so much easier. You don't have to worry about them springs go bank. But I did that once, so I know what I'm doing, and I know I don't want to do that anymore. So I changed out the shocks in the van. What's up, Ecotech Addict? And pharmaceutical salvage reefer. And I am super pleased with how that went. That was really easy. So I'm also going to hook the Civic up too, because the Civic's going to be the new towed vehicle behind the RV, but not this next trip. Not this next trip. No Toyota. I have historically been a Honda guy, so I've got a Honda Odyssey that I bought used a way long time ago. 2009 maybe? Wait. Yeah, probably 2009. And that thing has been awesome. No issues. Original transmission, 180,000 miles. Change the oil, change the fluid. It just keeps going. I just keep changing timing belts. Sadly, it doesn't have gears. So that minivan's been great. Oh, and I disabled that stupid eco mode that they do where they shut down 3 cylinders and then there's active dampening motor mounts, and the motor mounts go bad and they're expensive. And then the rings get all funky because they're not actually burning anything. They're not getting hot, so they get crusty, and then the stupid thing starts eating oil. And really all you got to do is disable eco. Then all your cylinders are always firing. Your gas mileage really doesn't suffer, so I don't know why they built that way to begin with. And then your van lasts a really, really long time like mine. All right. Let's get to this. Let me move this over here. Let me move this over here. I gotta get this thing closer. We're gonna do, some of you know, 25 concurrents. One day. Call your friends. Call your grandmas. Call the people down the street you don't like. Tell them to watch. One day I want to hit 100 concurrent viewers because I think that'd be cool. That'd be a lot of people. And then chat would be whizzing by. And then I'd have to have like more admin peeps. I should make the minivan into a tank. Then I'd have to have more admin peeps to catch up with chat because I wouldn't be able to stick with it. Did you see I modded my Evo a little more? And yes, that is dude, what'd you do? I didn't see. That's interesting. Of course you did. When did we start talking about that? Like last year, U.S. Thanksgiving or something? I think that's when that was. I think that's when we started talking about that stuff. See? Thank you, Robert. Your grandma might enjoy this. Who knows? She's not going to enjoy this. Boom. Wait, I'm supposed to say boom when we do that. Don't go make fake account, Lynn. There's so many fake accounts out there. Oh, and there's tools on the internet to see who's using fake accounts. You should go check that out because I have. This, ladies and gentlemen, note I can pick it up with one hand, so it's obviously not an OEM Ecotech battery backup with an 18 amp hour lead acid. Crappy battery. This, held by fingertips alone, is obviously not a lead acid battery. This is, and it's held together by, you know what, they rivet these together, which I don't get. They, at every of these 8 locations, they rivet these things together. I'm like, put some damn sheet metal screws in there so that it's more easily replaceable by us mortals. Well, heck, Dad and I watch, but don't know what you're talking about. One day, Mother, one day you will understand. Maybe. Keep switching accounts and comment on them. That's true. I do have other YouTube accounts that I really don't use. How much does it look like? You know what? I have not taken apart the ice cap, but really, it's just a battery. So at one point, I've had 2 comments regarding this battery. Oh my God. This is where this action. Did I turn down? Whew, I thought I kept soundtrack going for a little bit, but y'all would have told me, oh my God, I'm in the insurance industry, and you're going to burn down your house, and your family's not going to be covered. Please. And the other one was something related to blah, 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 and safety and lithium. You can't charge lithium like you can charge a lead-acid battery. I was like, no kidding. That's why this is a lithium iron phosphate. Same charge profile. Same-ish. Close enough. Actually, you're undercharging it a little bit by charging it like a lead-acid. Thank you, Robert. That's very kind. Robert's grandmother. I don't know. There was something about that long hair I kind of liked, but whatever. I had to set it free. I can't roll into a job interview with a headband on. That's just not going to work. It's not going to work. Remember, folks, keep your fish and LPS happy with Coral Frenzy, much the same way this cherry wheat keeps your boy Jimbo happy. That is so good. And seriously, let's just clear this. Let's just clear this up. The only time I drank is when I stream. Because if I drank this much every day, oh, I'd have a problem. I'd have to go see the man. I'd have to go have a talk. Hi, I'm Jim. I don't want to be that guy. But if you have been that person and you're still on the wagon, I applaud you. That's valuable. This, folks, is not what it looks like. This looks sketchy. This is not sketchy. This is a incredibly simple. You probably can't find these cells, but when you can find these cells online, you buy them. Because have you tried two-hearted beers? No, sir, I've not. Hold on. Savage Reefer, I can't roll. I'm serious. I can't roll into it. I can't roll in with that headband. That was a little. No, that was a little unruly. It was tickling my ears a little bit. Can't do that. This is B. You can't say those things because YouTube's gonna beat me up. Hey, Can Addict, you're not helping. Long-haired, freaky people. What about just freaky people? This is legit. Show this to your. I'm not. This is a perfectly safe device. Look, I'm touching it, and I even have a ring on like I shouldn't, and everything is safe. It's just 12 volts. What this is 4 headway lithium iron phosphate cells in series. They are rated at 8 amp hour. I don't know at what C, but they're rated at 8 amp hour, meaning how long can they provide their juice before they kick the bucket? Remember, the Ecotech is 18 amp hours. So this is lead acid. And under a low load, like an MP10, MP whatever, that 18 amp hours is legit the day that battery ships. But any minute or any total discharge after that battery ships, the rating of that battery is just going to tank. Under a high load, an 18 amp hour battery is good for 9 amp hours. It's really only going to provide half of what the rated is. But under a low load, it's different. But if you discharge that thing, if you cycle it, that's why some are called deep cycles. That means you can really discharge the voltage in that battery super, super low. That's why they call some batteries like trolling motors and RVs, that kind of thing, deep cycle, because you can really drop them low and charge them back up without degrading the battery too much. Every time you deep cycle a battery, you are absolutely degrading a lead acid battery. If you do that with a lithium iron phosphate, it doesn't degrade. Nowhere near like a lead acid does. Now, if you totally discharge a lithium iron phosphate battery, then it's probably toast. You may not be able to recover it. But that's why we have these little things called BMSs on there, because this BMS protects these cells from a deep discharge, meaning way, way, way too low. It's going to cut off at 2.3 volts per cell, 2, 4, 6, 8. So yeah, it's probably around 9 volts it's going to cut off. And then it's going to protect these cells, where a lead acid will just allow itself to discharge like all the way, which is bad. So even though these are rated at 8 amp hours, this package tested out at 12 amp hours, and that's going to run your MP10s, MP whatevers for a really long time, and it's not stupid heavy. And this battery pack is going to last 12 years. Your lead acid battery packs from Ecotech, 3. If you never discharge them, 5-ish. But this thing's going to last forever. And these are used cells, and these things are freaking fantastic. And you could find all sorts of batteries out there. But if you're going to use a lithium iron phosphate, and only use a lithium iron phosphate, because that's how you make 12 volts. If you're doing 24, you can use legit lithium, but those are more prone to fires and blowing up and stuff, so maybe you don't want to do that. Lithium iron phosphate is non-flammable, and all it's going to do is outgas if you screw something up. Like if you hook these together wrong and it starts rapid discharging, like shorted, it's gonna outgas. Robert's gonna grow his hair like me. Maybe one day I'll grow it back. Sketchy is modifying a Prius battery. No. There's a lot going on out there. You can buy BMWs, you can buy Prius, you can buy Leaf, you can buy BMWs, you can buy Tesla batteries. You can go get them. Those probably Prius are legit lithium, so you just gotta be careful because they burn people's houses down. But don't do that. Stop saying ID. What does discharge mean for batteries? Discharge means turning your flashlight on and leaving it on and forgetting to turn it off, slowly killing the batteries inside. You're discharging the batteries. So the opposite of charge. So it's taking all the energy out of the batteries. Yeah, how much did that cost you to make? I can look, let me look up. I'm probably not going to find them listed. This was dirt cheap. So the BMS was $14. And the cells, I could bring you along, can't I? I can just by doing this. Whoops. This. Hey, headway. See, these are the cells. These show as 10 amp hours, $14 a battery. These are not them. These are close. A lot of headway stuff out there you'll see are fake. I got mine from, I'd have to look in email to see how much I legit paid for them. Those are Model 3 cells. Now that's legit lithium, and those are probably, let's see, they sell a lot of batteries. I know damn well they don't have any headways, but we're gonna check. Oh. These are scams. See, they probably don't have any, which is sad. We'll check one more thing. What are these? These are 6. These are 6 amp hours. So here's 100 brand new. Oh, that's interesting. Battery hookup branded 32 650s, which aren't this size. These are smaller, and these are 6 amp hour. And that's a pretty freaking good deal for 100 batteries. Know what I'm saying? Let me look real quick. I could probably do that. Yeah, that's a good deal. Huh. So if you ever wanted to make something cool, if you wanted to make a battery backup, so here's your Powerwall opportunity. If you wanted to make a very powerful battery backup for your Reef to power a pure sine wave inverter to run your Reef during a power outage, this would not be a bad option, especially at that price. $400 for 100 cells, $4 a cell. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, true. Vape batteries. I don't know that they're using. Are they using Lifeys? Don't they? Lithium iron phosphate. I thought they use like legit lithium 18650s. Like I have around here somewhere. Oh no, those are downstairs. I wonder. So there you go. That's a little more than you expected. Ken, this probably cost $50 to make. 18 amp hour battery is probably $35 to $40 on Amazon. So really not that much more money. 4 times the life, 3 times the life, at least double the life. It depends how you treat them. If you don't discharge them at all, easily 3 times the life. Discharge my bat. Later, sir. That's hilarious. Monsieur Splendor needs to discharge his battery. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I did to this. That's what's inside there. And you use the bone stock charger that came with this because lithium iron phosphate, like I said earlier, the charge profile is similar enough to sealed lead acid to use the same charger. And I do. I keep this plugged in the garage, and when I need it, I'll have it. And this is like 2nd or 3rd level backup for what I have going on with the MP10s. 2 more batteries and I'm done. Any questions about this? Yeah, this is pretty sweet. If I'll offer this, if y'all want me to, if you have Ecotech battery backups that you want me to modify, I'll do it. And I will charge you a small do-it fee. And then the parts will be, you'll see the price of the parts. If this is something you want me to do, maybe. There's some liability involved that I have to be comfortable with, I suppose, right? I'm not worried about the work I do. For me. Something to think about. We can work that out. Any questions? It looks like somebody got their grandmas online because I got 14 likes. So how do you wire the batteries so they will work when the power goes out? How does it stop when the power resumes? Robert, in this particular case, what people normally do is they plug in their pumps here. These are both 12 volt output. This plugs into the MP10 driver. So it has a little plug for the battery, and it's just a wire that goes from here to the driver. When the driver loses legit AC power, this automatically powers the power head. So there's nothing you need to do. In this particular case, it's automatic. If you're talking about others, like 24 volt, then you would have to use a relay. And it's a very simple circuit to do it. And maybe I could draw it out one day. But it's a really easy circuit to bring in line a 24 volt or 12 volt or whatever battery when you lose power. Because coming out, right, you plug a pump, not an AC pump. I'm talking about DC pumps. You plug a DC pump into the wall, it goes into a wall wart or a power brick like this. And then that which comes out of this is either 12 volt, 24, 36, 48, whatever. And all you got to do is replicate this voltage. And then this and the battery both connect to a relay. And then when power is on, that relay is energized. So power from the wall is feeding your pump. And then when that loses power, the relay goes to its normal position. In this particular case, you know, it'll just flip up. And then this circuit is powered, and power from the battery then goes to the pump. So you could do it a couple different ways. Do I ship to the UK? No, sir. I mean, I could, right? What's that take? That's probably not, it's not live, so why couldn't I? That's something I could probably do. Savage Reefer says hardy, hardy, hard. All right, let's take this apart. Look, play with batteries. If you have never played with batteries, go to Battery Hookup. I'm not sponsored. Tell them I sent you. And just buy some. And then make something. Go to the dump, and I've talked about this before. Go to the recycle center and grab somebody's old broken UPS, APC UPS that they threw out just because the battery's dead. Pull that swollen, busted battery out of there and take your new battery pack and wire it into that, and poof. That's what I did with the other 4. So I had 8 of these cells. No, look, I made a huge battery pack, and that's what's powering the fish tank during the day. That's what the solar charges, is a whole bunch of these. 50 amp hours worth. Remember, this is 8 amp hours. I bought 8 of these when they were in stock. 4 are in this, and 4 are in an APC UPS with 8 amp hours worth of batteries, which really isn't abnormal. Like those UPSs that Ryan was BRS Ryan was playing with when he was doing his emergency power series. It's probably about 8 amp hours worth of battery in those things. Make sure you get all your shots before doing so. Before doing what? Before doing what, man? And what kind of shots? Like jabs? Or that 90 weight oil they shot in my butt when I went to freaking Desert Storm? Which one? This is a Reef Brite. 60 watt, which means, you know what watt? You know how to figure out watts? You do 60 divided by 24, because this is a 24 volt power supply, and that'll give you 2.5. 2.5 amps. Guess what? 24 volts, 2.5 amps. So this is 60 watts, right? Reef Brite does it differently than others. They use fixed power supplies. And let's see. I can do this right here. This thing says it is UL listed. And I can show you that real quick. It says UL. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. UL listing to me means you pay an inspector to go overseas to inspect the manufacturing methods by which this power supply is made. I have experience with that in German-made equipment where UL inspector has to go over there. To provide UL certification, they have to go through all the wiring, make sure it's done a certain way, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of like the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. You pay for it and you get it. UL is a little bit like that too. It's a little more stringent. It gives you maybe a little more, but this thing says it's UL listed, but right there you see that it is like $5. This power supply is $5 direct from China on Alibaba. You would have to buy a freaking pallet full of them. But that's what the power supply costs. So it's, I mean, it's not a name brand power supply by any means. And it totally might be UL. Maybe there's a certificate stating that. but whatever. This is a 24-inch Reef Brite. And this is relatively new. I can look back and see when I bought this, but it's really not that old, and you can tell that by this sticker. Oh, it has a born-on date on the inside, if I remember right. A couple of things worth noting. This is powder coated, and I'm not a big fan of powder coating, but that's powder coated. So if you bend the brackets at all, and these are really made to fit directly onto an ATI fixture, because these things put out a really nice flood. Actually, you know what? We could talk about it. Who here remembers me saying that guy was going to get Kessels for his big 360? Guess what? He's getting Kessels. Guess what? He's not going to do T5s because he, like me, realizes it's a dated technology, and he doesn't want to change any bulbs, nor do I. So what Ryan is going to do is he's going to get Kessels. Shocker. That guy is totally Kessel. He loves Kessels, and I get why. It's easy. So he's going to get some Kessels, and he's going to get some Reef Brites, which makes sense to me. Oops. What happened? There we go. Which makes sense to me because Kessel, the 360X, you got to run relatively low to the water to get the kind of par that you're looking for out of that light, because it's really not a powerful light. It's it's probably a 90-watt light. I'm watching the stream and it's showing a black screen while I was clicking the wrong stuff. There we go. So that makes sense. So if he's going to run Kessels, which are going to be relatively low, they got pretty good spread coming out of that big old mono lens thingy they have. That's cool. So Ryan's interest in running a Reef Brite, which is a really nice floodlight. It blankets similar to a T5. That all makes sense to me. So totally knew he was going to go with Kessel, and rocking Reef Brites as sidekicks really makes sense to me. Dumpster diving. You don't have to dumpster dive, Lynn. You could just walk right over to the Montgomery County transfer station and grab them right out of the battery box because they're right there. It is so hard for me not to do it. Last time I was there, there was a fresh-looking one sitting right on top, and you knew damn well it was just a dead battery in that APC power supply, but I didn't do it. I resisted. It's hard. Back to Reef Brite. These things, I don't know why we do it this way. I would anodize instead of this, instead of powder coat, because this stuff just flakes right off. It's not, whatever. If you bend this, it cracks, and that's the end of it. Anodized won't do that. Something to think about. See all this? Yeah. Now both the AliExpress light and the Orphic have crappy brackets also, but their brackets are just aluminum. Not anodized, not anything special, but they don't have any coating on them that can flake off. Inside a helm. This is the business end. This is the power end. What's interesting about Reef Brites, and it has to be a stock stuff, like the reflector that they use, isn't long enough. So what I don't know is if longer than 24 inches, because I got two short Reef Brites, and they have a complete reflector. But if you have a 24-inch Reef Brite, it has reflector, and then it has this other reflector that I don't like this, because there's a seam there, right? Oops. You can see that seam in the reflector because it's just one material laid on top of another material. That's also not my thing. But that's how they do it. Normally this is shiny. So this is just a sticker that's put on there to hide this end, and to hide that end, because that's all that is. So those are just little stickers. This should not be a thing. Never should you see this. Keep that in mind. In a reef light, you should not have wire nuts. Wire nuts are evil. I don't like wire nuts. Wire nuts are okay for household electrical. That's how they do it. That's how the world does it. Well, that's how the U.S. does it. But it's not cool for component level stuff. That's not something that should be done. Much the same as the shorter Reef Brite, these reflectors are just pressed in. And now the shorter Reef Brite had, see, you bend them, but you just bend them back, so it's not that big of a deal. So if you need to jump in here and replace these diodes, it's not that big of a deal. You just bend this thing back and shove it in there, and it looks, you can't tell that you took it apart unless you scratch it. But whatever, it doesn't matter. It's still going to have a nice flood. What was I saying? Wire nuts. No wire nuts. And then these reflectors, that's what I was saying. These reflectors are held in with silicone on the older lights. This one, these were held together when I took it apart the first time. These were held together with hot glue. Also, whatever. I'm sure it's easy and it aids in assembly. Not something that should be done. But it works. As long as you don't take them apart, you kind of don't see, right? So the way a Reef Brite is configured, I can show this. So the power supply is $5. Whoops. So this is Amazon pricing. You can get 10 of these. Now this one's 420. This one's 425 nanometers, and these are 400 milliamps. Whatever, 500, probably 450, whatever. And this is retail pricing. 10 of them for $8. 8 times 3, right? So you can do that math. So inside of this, and that's like if you went AliExpress, these diodes, now look, these diodes aren't special. These diodes are what you see inside of an Ocean Revive, inside of an Orphic OR2, inside of the AliExpress 24-inch bar. These are just regular old Shenzhen maybe diodes. These are 3 watts each. This is 450 and 470 nanometers, so it's every other. This light was made 5/11/19 by M. It's written there in pencil. So what they do is you have all of these, and then another one, all of these, and you have another one, all of these. And this is held in simply with, well, it had a little hot glue on it, but it's also held in with thermal transfer, heat transfer compound, which transfers the heat of these individual metal bars that these LEDs are soldered to this extruded aluminum body. So, I mean, that's all it is. So no resistors. If one of these diodes fries, this particular, oh, something worth noting. 2.5 amps, right? So what did I say this wattage was? 60 watts. So 60 watts divided by 3, because voltage doesn't divide in a parallel circuit, but amperage does, meaning the amperage side of that 60 watts. So 2.5 divided by 3, 0.8 watts. is going to each of these. The total voltage is going to be 24, but just under 1 amp. Maybe I said watts, and I apologize. Just under 1 amp. You know, 0.8 amps is going to here, and then to here, and then to here. Where it gets a little tricky, and where I think things could be made a little better, because I know how others are made, is if this diode fries, this board is going to draw more amperage. Will it? These diodes, because it's going to divide evenly, so it's still going to stay 0.8, 0.8, 0.8. These remaining diodes, if it shorts, not opens, but if it shorts, is going to feel... see, this is so... I don't understand that wire. I need to take this all apart one day and figure out why that wire is like that. Because I don't get that. But if one of these... whatever. The additional, the further down the line in that stream could actually feel more amperage than maybe they're intended to feel. I would have to do, and I've not done, I would have to do the math to understand how underdriven these are, if they're underdriven, and I could probably figure that out. To know how many of these could fry shorted before it'll take out an entire string. And if this whole string goes out, then you got 2.5 amps being split among 2 potentially, and then maybe it could fry those as well. So some other lights are made with slightly higher resistance, so that if the diode fries shorted, then the resistor takes the additional amperage so as not to cook everything else. Does that make sense? I haven't seen one of these fry. I have seen the diodes on my shorties, but they're super old. I can't remember what nanometer now, which spectrum diodes fried, but it was every other spectrum that needed to be replaced. They weren't fried, they were just burnt. So the lenses, I think it was the 450s. The lenses were a little cooked. But if you look at this one, these look great. But this light's relatively new, not used that much. So if you've never looked inside of a Reef Brite, that's what you're getting. It works. And the light is, you know, the light floods down pretty nice. I really like taking stuff apart, if you haven't figured that out. I find that really enjoyable. Because you gotta, you know, right? You gotta look in there, you gotta see what's going on. You gotta see how people make things. Because if you want to do stuff on your own and you don't know how to do it and you've never done it before, take something else apart. And you know, and then, but don't use hot glue. If you're gonna make something yourself at home, use hot glue. If you're gonna mass produce something and sell it, don't do that. Find something better. Use potting compound. Use it also makes it harder to take it apart. That's a hint. Use epoxy. Use something cool. Oh, Savage went to bed. Later, dude. Catching up on this business right now. I'm off to bed. Powder coat is cheap when done. Yep, it is. Powder coating is absolutely cheap. Redo's back. Wait, those wire nuts are factory? Yeah, those wire nuts are factory. My 24-inch shipped this way. I didn't do this. I wouldn't do this. I would solder right to there. I wouldn't use a wire nut. I would solder to it. I mean, you can do that. Did you miss the Ecotech redo reefer? You did. Is that like thermal paste you'd use on a CPU? It is. I use Arctic Silver. When I take these apart and replace the diodes, I just use Arctic Silver on the back and it works perfectly. Are those diodes run 7S3P? Yes, Neil Phillips, they are. But what I don't understand is, and I'd have to, I gotta figure it out, is why this wire is here. Like, why is that done? But yes, you have it right. See, Neil knows what's up. People dropped off. 27, 20 likes. That's not bad. Neil, if you could look at that. Oh, I was pointing to it and you can't see. I didn't bust a meter out on this thing, and I haven't taken it apart because I don't want to break it because it still works. But when it breaks, I'm totally going to figure it out. I guess I could if I tried harder. Right? If this is your positive bar, positive, and then this positive just comes right to this diode. And then your negatives all come back to the same negatives, right? But why is that? I never put a meter on it while I have it powered. Why does that come to here? So why do we snake this wire through each of these bars? That I don't know. Like, where's that going? That's not going anywhere. This one isn't really going anywhere, so I don't know why it's there. So it's a workaround for something. That's what I think. The AliExpress bar ain't made like this. It's made very differently. And there's no wires inside. Makes me want to hold a soldering clinic, to be honest. Bahama Llama, you missed the goodness, sir. Whatever, you play back. It's not that good. I talked about how you had motivated Redo Reefer to go be an awesome YouTuber, and I respect that, sir. Well done. Well done. Let's see. Oh, here comes the Bahama Llama love. Remy, it looks like if they put wire behind, it interferes. Yeah, but why is the wire there? That's my point. Because if you look at this, the way it's... I just need to figure it out. I just need to go get the meter and figure it out. Because it just doesn't look like they need to have it. But if, right, look, the red wire to the wire nut goes right to here. So positive to positive on this board to the positive, whatever. This board doesn't have this positive thingy. It just goes right to the positive side. This positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, right? And then ends up on the negative side of the board. The negatives are all tied together, so they're all running in parallel. What is this wire? Why does this negative come over to here, right? This negative to here, this negative to... Well, I take that back because this one's soldered to the positive side of that diode, to whatever this is. And I don't know what that is. I just don't know why it's there. See what I'm saying? It's odd. But that's the way it's made. So these things, much the same as the little shorties that I did that video on. Before you put the plastic cover on, you reach in there with a nice cloth and clean. Oh no, this is the wrong one. It can't go there. Look, because there's a freaking... See, I wish they could get this material full length. That way you wouldn't have to piece this thing together like they do. This has to go here. The way you put this back is first you bend it back out. These reflectors, and if you can find this material, you'd be way ahead. But if these reflectors is why a Reef Brite shoots light like a T5, because it is this simple with no lenses. Still, don't do this. Please don't do this. And That goes like that. And that's legit how they're put together. Remember that I said that these reflectors were hot glued. I suppose that also holds the LED plates in place a little bit. And if your LEDs are not necessarily aligned, they're just held in there with thermal compound, and you can scooch them around just a little bit to fit under there perfectly. And then once you have it like this, before you slide this cover back on, and remember these LEDs are replaceable, so if you wanted to swap out every so often, swap in a 420 to make this a broader spectrum light, you could. The same way you could take an AliExpress light apart and add for 50 nanometers to basically make it a lensed Reef Brite. That's all you got to do. And all of these are simply replaceable. You could replace these on a gas stove. You could probably do it on an electric stove. You could do it in the oven if you wanted. You could put the whole bar in the oven, flow the solder. It's all low temp solder, flows super easily, and then you could just legit just place a new diode on there after you pull the old one off. What's up, Dar Sanchez? Oh, there's a... Wait. Let me catch up. Lifeguarding comes first. You know that, Remy. Oh, I'm late on Remy, so Taylor King saying nice video this morning, and I didn't see it. I feel bad. Go get the meter. The meter's downstairs. Get the meter. Get to the meter. Oh. This one. We're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and we're going to report this user. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that. We're going to go like this. Okay. Thanks. We're also going to say... that lip gloss girl is probably your friend and mine, Ryan James Jessup, also known as Shroom Saver and Coral Reef News. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to make that guess. Because when I'm trolled... Why is my dog barking? I am trolled by Ryan James Jessup of upstate New York. And he is the Shroom Saver. I was recently friended by him again. Followed by him again on Instagram, which I find baffling because it's as if there's multiple personalities in that young man. None of them are good. Oh, dare I said it. All right, that's it. All right, back to your regular scheduled Be Kind programming. Yeah. Stop powder coating. Reef Brite. Stop powder coating. Don't do that. Go get yourself some anodized aluminum because it looks so much nicer, I think. I think it does. Maybe that's just me, though. All right, that's it, folks. That's what I got. That's an hour, too. I timed that pretty well. Anybody have any questions? Anybody understand what anybody need more information about what we got going on here? Actually, I'm going to scooch this down just a little bit. Oh, yeah. See, that works. That way it doesn't overlap as much. Anybody want to know how to change the shocks on a 2007 Honda Odyssey? Okay, go ahead and do this. We'll put that out of the way. Tisk lip gloss girl. I'll have to go check that account out. That seems like a little bit of a mess. All right, y'all. I don't have anything going on tomorrow. I think tomorrow's going to be a little slow. We got some stuff to do around here yet. Did a little closet work, a little shelf hanging. Actually, it was kind of a busy day today. a lot times when I watch live stream, he'll say that white light is what grows coral, but everyone else says blue light grows coral. Who's right? I think they're all right, Nick. You can successfully grow corals with blue or with white. He is a metal halide guy, if I'm remembering right. And that's just what he uses to grow. And he's not using a radium 20K. I think he's using double-ended bulbs. So it's a multi-spectrum thing. So he can do a lot of daylight. Some people just prefer the way corals look with white light, and he happens to be one of them. Jason Fox is blue. He grows all his stuff under blue. There was a video a long time ago, and it may have been Reef. Who did it? Oh, hell. I can't remember. Tall dude, California. He went to Jason Fox's house, and it was all blue all day. So, Malevsres could totally just pull those metal halides out, put in some XR30s, a bunch of them, over that big honking tank he has. Thanks, Dar Sanchez, about the haircut. And he could do just fine. His corals would have to acclimate to that different lighting, and eventually they would, and eventually they would grow. But you can grow under whites. You can grow under blues. I think the colors are going to be different under blues. Yeah, thank you, Reef Builders. Thanks, Algae Warrior. Either way. You can do it either way. I prefer to be a blue guy. AB Plus is a little whiter than I like to go. So the display, I've been fiddling with the Mitras LX7s over the frag tank, but the display has a XR30 that's shooting AB Plus that has quite a bit of white. It looks good. It's cool. And I've been playing with more blues on the Mitras LX7s. And that's been looking really good. So, either way, yes. So, they're all right. It's not who's right. They're all right. So, that light is driverless. That's a choice, I guess. It's still... It's power supply. Right, there's... This is it. We're using a $5 power supply. Fixed voltage, fixed amperage. Right, so it's not a variable voltage fixed current. It is legit 24 volts at 2.5 all the time. $5 power supply. Yeah, this, I mean, if you really got a little creative and you were handy with a soldering iron, this light is, like all bar lights, are fairly easy to make. I would choose a different power supply because I would want to run them on a... and I would also change the internal configuration of the wiring. I would want to run them at, say, 700 milliamps with a variable voltage with a 0 to 10 dimmer so I can control 0 to 10 driver so I could control dimming if that's... like I did with the AliExpress bar. But... yeah, Neo Phillips. I think you're catching on. Tagged you in a final product picture right off the grill. Man, you're going to make me hungry. Redo Reefer. Yeah, you can totally go blue. Isn't blue just part of the white spectrum? No. Not really. Generally, when you see blue, I mean, yes and no. Usually, light manufacturers split it up. If you're going to have two channels, one's going to be blue, and that's going to be anywhere from, hell, you can go UV if you wanted, but generally they don't. So anywhere from 410 nanometers up to 470-ish. That's a blue channel. And then everything else they put on the whites. Now, the whites is generally a mixture of white, green, red, maybe sometimes different color white, so warm white, cold white. But yeah, that's kind of how they roll. So blues, and I've talked about it before. I'm a 420, 450. I wonder how many. We should turn my burping into a drinking game. 420, 450, 470 nanometer kind of person. Reef Brites, nail it. In that they are, and the reason why they make corals look so nice, they are 450 and 470 nanometers. So you can buy, I could probably do a copy here. I'll take you along for the ride. If I go here and I go here, if I go up here and I paste this and I go 450, let's say. These are clears, these are multis, these are purples, 365 nanometer with a plastic lens. That's cheap and it's not going to work. This is going to cook this plastic lens all day long. You would have to take that plastic off for it not to fry. But these are all the different, I mean, look, I mean, you can see these, not these suck. You don't want those. Here's a 5 watt. What you see in the new Orphic, they look like this. So this is a 5 watt. Here's a 440, 470 nanometer, 10 pieces for $10. So $10, and these are 5 watts. These are not 3 watts, right? So it's 10. Oh, see, right? So $1 a piece times, so let's pretend just for a second that you wanted to build your own Reef Brite. You get 24 of those. There's $25. You spend $5 on the power supply. This is just basic stock extruded aluminum. And then it's all about those reflectors. The reason the Reef Brite works is not because of the LEDs. Certainly not the quality of LEDs. The spectrum of the LEDs, yes. But it's all about this reflector material, which works perfectly. That's why they get that nice even flood like a T5. But you could do a little, you know, you can do a little bit of fun. Go to rapidled.com, get some legitimate LEDs made by Cree. Not these. Those you can get some 3, 5, 6 watts with a dimmable driver. Grab yourself some stock aluminum channel and go make yourself a light. Go try it. Go give it a shot. See what's up. It's really not that hard. Acan lures, algae wire. So, you know what? I have a bunch of Acans, micromusas, however you want to do it. They're happy under AB+, but that is a little wider. I don't have any. Do I have any? I don't have any Acans in the frag tank. Neil Phillips. I think you got another piece of your puzzle today. I think you're right. You see how these are made. I absolutely wouldn't run the bars in parallel. That's not something I would do. And I absolutely would drop resistors in to carry the load of shorted LEDs if that were to happen. Something to consider if you're going to do your do. Now, if you don't care, I mean, how often do LEDs, you know what, they do it more often than not, because I've had it happen. I don't know, something to consider. If you start dropping diodes in a string, in a series string, what's going to happen? The whole string runs the risk of frying. So keep that in mind. Tell me, Falcon. He was using 10K. Oh. Falcon, are you Maryland? Because Jason's still Maryland, right? He's up north of Baltimore just a little bit. If you bring that RV tank to Nashville, toss one of those jawbreakers in there. There's some good bourbon in it for you. So one of those is mine. One of those is Mighty Nano Tanks. And then there's another baby that walked off the edge that's starting to grow on its own. That's starting to show a little size. So I'm pretty happy with what's going on there. That's an interesting, there's some interesting shroom action going on there. Falcon for reals, that's pretty sweet. Jason's got some cool cores. He really does. He's got some nice stuff. Oh, you know what I was going to do? I was going to talk about wormwood tea, but we'll do that another time. Don't know that that's working. I keep dipping corals just to see, test dipping, and I'm still getting acropora eating flatworms. Who was it? Fish of Hex, Travis says. Noise. Oh, noise. Travis says that acropora eating flatworms is like an STD. And then one of those STDs that you can't get rid of, that penicillin ain't gonna fix. Philip, I'm not sure that they do. I think he stopped doing home pickups, and I wish he didn't. I would have liked to visit it. Actually, I know a guy who knows his best friend when he was growing up, and maybe I need to engage that just so I could do a tour, just so I could go learn. It would be a pretty sweet learning opportunity. Yeah, so what I did is I picked up a wrasse, and it's in quarantine right now. Neil, what are you asking me? What config would I do for an LED light bar? I know what I've done, and I know what has worked. I think you just got to be careful when you wire them up in series. If one of those LEDs does fry, and it fries shorted, then you run the risk of sending too much amperage to the rest of the lights down the stream. Unless, you know what, let me take back that BS statement. If you're using a variable voltage fixed amperage, no, wait. Yeah, that'll work. If you're just using 700 milliamps, so it's always putting out 700 milliamps, most diodes can handle that. So if an LED does fry, it's still going to be 700 milliamps. And it's just going to vary the voltage accordingly. That's what I would do. So I'd wire them in series. You could probably skip the resistors and just roll with a 700 milliamp driver. You're under driving by far the blues, the royal blues. But if you're going to put any, and you got to think about that. If you're going to put any UV in there, like legit UV, you can only drive them at 700. But if you're going to put in bigger ones, then you can change your tactics. If you're going to roll royal blues, like all royal blues, or throw in some 470s, like these Reef Brites, then you can run a fixed, well, you could run a pretty powerful driver with variable voltage, and that way, if you do fry diodes shorted, then you're not going to cook the rest of them in line. So it's just something to think about. It all depends on what diodes you're going to use. What flavor wrasse? I got a Christmas wrasse. So they didn't have any six lines. And I'm a huge fan of a 6-line. I have a small 6-line in the display. It doesn't mess with the other fish. And as long as I don't put any other fish in that tank, that 6-line is just fine. It's totally comfortable with the fish that are in there. But I got a Christmas for the frag tank, because what I can say is there's no acropora eating flatworms. There's no acropora eating flatworm damage in the display tank, and the frag tank and the display are connected. So theoretically, anything should be traveling back and forth. That wrasse is a hunting fool. That 6-line hunts all day long. Anything it finds, it eats. So I don't think anything survives in that tank, to include flatworms. So what I'm trying is a Christmas, because that's all they had. I'm going to throw that in the frag tank and see how that goes. Hopefully it's not a jerk to the tangs that live in that tank. Wormwood is no different than KZ flatworm stop. That's what I understand. I'm still seeing acropora eating flatworms after 8 months. Relentless, but most of my acros are surviving and looking good. Reef Keeper, same boat. I'm seeing, I think, more than I would like to see, more flatworms than I would like to see. But I'm hopeful that at some point the combination of a RAS, and if the Christmas doesn't work, I'll eventually find a 6-line, throw that in there. I was looking at the tanks up at Fantastic, and they're running 6 lines in their tanks because they're sweet pest eaters, like B says right there. It is a pest hunter killer. Neil Phillips was about to call out that BS. I would never wire in series without current limit driver. Exactly. See? Good thing I saved myself. Hopefully that Christmas. Oh, you're in PA, Falcon. Got you. Where you grab a RAS? I got it. Philip, I got it from... Oh, yeah. I know where you are, Philip. I got it at Fantastic out in Frederick. Ran up there today. Hit Walmart. Hit Fantastic. Rolled back home. Do you think it would be worth it to add... This is Jake. Add any true UV LED diodes to my light bar I remodified with 470 bar, 420 bar? I wouldn't. Jake, I wouldn't do it. Orphic's not even doing it. Nobody's doing it in a bar that I know. And I don't think I would do it in a bar. If I was going to do it in a bar, then I would do 380. And 380 with every other with 450. So I wouldn't spread them out too far. I may throw some 470 in there, but I'd swap out the 420s for 380s, but I would just leave it alone. Separate drivers for Reef Brite and for Royal Blue and Violets. Yep, that makes sense too. So you can drive the Royal Blues really hot and drive the Violets light like they like. That way they don't cook. 5 Springer Damsels. Blue Zoo. All right, y'all. Everybody's caught up. Y'all are starting chatting. I got 26, 23 likes. Thank you very much. Are we cool with the what's inside? I mean, I think this is only my third what's inside. Aside from the troller coming in and talking about a different kind of inside, are we cool with this kind of series? Because I have some other things that I'm sure I could take apart. I would like to take apart an Ocean Revive so you could see what's in there. I could take apart the modified Ocean Revive so you could see what I did there. That kind of stuff. So maybe I'll fiddle around with it. Maybe I'll bring some more stuff into the craft room and take stuff apart. If this sort of works. If it does, leave comments, please. Encourage me. Let me know that's what you want me to do. If you have other ideas of things you would like to see me do, specifically DIY related, I'm more than happy to entertain those ideas. Just shy of what our friend the Troll was suggesting, because I can't go that way. And I'm going to have to watch backup Ecotech battery segment. Yeah, Redo, if you want to talk other backup stuff, if you want to go big, let me know. Like I said, I'm still working on that battery backup video, and I'll get that out eventually so you can see how. Philip, are you talking about that one that Remy, Bahama Llama, talked about? After the tornadoes in Nashville, oh, that sucks. Yeah, you know what I was watching when that freaking hurricane was coming up the coast, people losing power. I was like, you have to have a power solution already in play, available before that storm shows up. Because if you don't, then you're scrambling and you're stressed and you're just hating life. And it's already a hard time when you don't have power, and then you add to that the stress of not having backup power. And that's just too difficult. That's not something I want to entertain. So what I want to do is have a solution already available, hopefully hopefully a good enough solution. Mine's multi-stage, right? First, the batteries can carry me for quite a while, and that's just life support stuff. The lights will go out. I don't care about the lights. But I need to be able to have the heater and fans and pumps. So the water is moving, the water is heated, and the water is cooled. If the house starts getting hot, then that's something else altogether. And in that case, I could bring the chiller in, and I could run the chiller off an inverter. At that point, I'm going to need or I could run the chiller off a generator. So I have one generator. I have another generator showing up. And you just have to have those solutions available already. And because power, you're going to lose power at the worst time, and you need to have it available so you can move very quickly and get yourself in a good spot. Ecotech Addict says, yes, take all the things apart. So my next product is a modified 470 bar in T5 hybrid fixture in place of the T5. Oh yeah, I totally support that. Hide the drivers where T5. Yep, where those ballasts are going to. Yes, that will be a sweet looking setup. Pull those T5s. You don't need those bulbs anymore. Get rid of those ballasts. You don't need those. Oh, that sucks. Power outage a week. So I could probably go, I mean, as long as I could get gas somewhere, I'm good indefinitely with a generator and a backup generator. And worst case, I could always plug it into the car. But I really like the solar setup. That has treated me very well. And and I haven't had a power outage since I installed that damn thing. I'm just going to say that. So somehow, I am the guy that made Jason realize when he thought everybody had 2-foot collies, he had Dr. Mac go to his house, which he got his breakthrough from. I told Dr. Mac he would crap himself. You know what? Dr. Mac did me right. Swinging by that place when it was a Sunday. I did a Sunday pickup coming back from the beach, and he did me right. That guy's funny. I hope he's doing well. Dr. Mac, by the way, is Pacific East Aquaculture on the eastern shore of Maryland. I did not feel no earthquakes. Anybody in South Carolina feel that earthquake? I did not. Jabo Reef LEDs. Jake, I saw them, and I appreciate that. I'm not going that way. Yeah. So I'll pull it up here real quick. This is the last thing, and then I'm for reals leaving. Because now we're getting a little rambly. Let's see. Generator. I'll show you this. I have 2 of these. So these are 2,000. They claim 2,000, but it's actually 2,000 like surge, and it's really like for a second. It's going to die if it hits 2,000. It's 1,600 watt continuous. I have 2 of these. So the other one's showing up Tuesday. The other one's in the basement. This thing has treated me really well. It's a easy to work on generator. Just changed the oil out the other day, and it has run very well for me. It has powered a small RV air conditioner before. It can't power my 13.5 unit on top of the RV, but anything smaller than that, this thing can manage. And then I also purchased the paralleling kit where I can hook 2 of them up, and it gives me an RV outlet there, and then I get way more juice. So I get 1,600 times 2 is what its actual oomph is. So surge, it'll handle 4,000 watts. Normal running, it'll handle 3,600. But I've been really happy with that. Those Hondas are really nice, but this generator is only $430. purchased 2 times. And this has treated me well. So something to consider. If you need a generator, this works. And you don't have to spend the $1,100 on a 2,200 watt Honda. You can go get this thing and you'll be fine. So there you go, Redo. Check that thing out. 1-inch black worms would be in my tank. Oh, I don't know what that is, Taylor. Sorry. Interesting. All right, y'all. Now I'm for reals jumping off. Redo, you got that? Okay, good. All right, y'all. As always, thank you for hanging out. I will try to, and I'm sure I'll come up with something, I will try to go downstairs and find something cool to take apart. Oh, crap. I didn't answer. The $85 light? Who asked that? Sorry. The $85 light. You don't need to take my word for it. Watch, or $89. Go watch Remy's video, and you see that it's working for that dude. Not for Remy, but that buddy of his, whose name I can't remember right now. That was a... I mean, he shows it. He shows the insulation. He shows what he's growing in that tank. That light will work. That's actually the light I'm using for the quarantined fish. So, something to think about. And look, here we go. Here's another hour-and-a-half stream. Man, we just get to talking. I think that's all we got. All right, y'all. Peace of peace. Thank you all for hanging out. As always, happy to entertain content suggestions. Hit me up on Instagram. If you have questions, comments, whatever, throw them here. Throw them over on Instagram. Hit me up directly. If you need some time on the phone and we could talk through some issues, I'm happy to do that. We could even do that through Instagram if you'd like. Give me a shout. Give me a warning. And then we can schedule some time and make that happen. I'm not going to charge you anything. For the dude who hit me up for the rimmed tank, hooking up a cheap light, a little pinch clamp light, I'm going to send this out this week. You're going to get this. This is something that Moki talked about on his $146 budget build tank thingy. I sell these for the cost of shipping to your house. So the shipping material and the price of postage is all I charge. So I cut these, mail them out to you, and all you pay is shipping. I'm not going to make any money off of those things. That's not cool. So, all right, y'all. I hope your families are safe and healthy. I hope everybody's doing well. As always, happy reefing, and be kind, everyone. Thanks.